it. All right. I love it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the MultiDimensional MD. My name is Dr. Arlene Dijamco, and I'm an integrative physician and cranial osteopath. And my mission is to help bring the intuitive spirit back to medicine in a tangible and practical way. And I'm here with my friend and colleague, Dr. Shawn Marie Higgins, who's a sound healer and osteopath. And Shawn, thank you so much for being here. She was with us last year at the Healing Through Art Summit. And I want to let you introduce yourself further for everyone.
Thank you. Thanks. It's great to be here. I am an osteopathic physician. I practice in Yarmouth, Maine, and I also do sound healing. And I've been training in sound healing for many years now. As I've developed skills and actually sound healing myself, I've been able to integrate it into my practice and have found and intuited and realized, I think, so many things I didn't know about sound. And I'm putting that in quotes, and you'll find out when I describe the class that I'm giving on it, why that goes in quotations. But I do both. I do osteopathic manipulation and I do sound healing on all ages from newborn to elderly.
And you've just found sound to be so helpful. I think it's the frequency of just being able to tap into different energetic layers. And you've created this course that is for really anybody interested in sound healing. Can you tell us more about your course that's coming up?
Yes, thank you so much. It's August 20th and 21st, 2021, and I did not plan that. I just noticed it while I was typing it out on the email that I'm having it August 20th and 21st, 2021. But anyway, that must mean something. And it's near a full moon. But yeah, so the thing about sound is everything is sound. And that's why I feel like it's so important to integrate this into medicine, because this class is actually approved for up to 10 CME credits for Category 1A osteopathic credits, which can translate to MD credits or any other, practitioner credit.
This first class is open to anyone, whether you're any kind of health practitioner or wellness practitioner, or interested in music, sound healing personally. So you don't necessarily have to be a physician, right, to take this class.
Absolutely. It's open to the general public. I think all of my classes on sound should be, and I'm considering that because, again, sound is everything, because everything is vibration. And the name of the class has changed so much, but the best one I have found is called Matter in the Atom, the Anatomy and Physics of Sound Healing. Because when you think of sound, it's vibration. And everything is vibration. So we have to go back to some basic physics and learn about the finest construction of everything, at least on our world and probably in the universe. We may not know that, but for sure, it's definitely the finest level of construction of matter on Earth. And that includes living beings as well as inanimate, non-living things, material things. And when we take things to that level, we find out that everything exists as vibration and energy in space. And that's the level at which sound is working. And sound is really just a spectrum of vibration that we can hear. But it's vibration, just like there are things that we can't hear that are still vibration and affect us by something called entrainment as well. And that's how sound works. It works through sympathetic resonance or entrainment, which is a natural phenomenon described in physics, and it works through vibration. That's why, when you tone sacred sounds near someone, that entrains the cells to vibrate closer to the sacred sounds, which are closer to nature. But you can get a sound healing treatment walking in nature, because the vibration of it is still going to entrain you. That's why when people go hiking and they take vacation and they're with their kids, they feel better. Mm-hmm. It's because you're being entrained to the vibrations of joy, innocence, nature, animals, trees, things that are our mother, really, because the earth was here before we were. So you can consider, the earth as giving birth to us, because we would be nothing without it. So it comes from the source from which we were born of. So it's our God's source energy, if you will. It's the one source that we come from. And when we go back to that, which is nature, we feel better.
And you're
And
calling
that's what sound is.
Yeah. So you're saying, so sound is vibration, vibration is sound. And so this is whether or not we can hear the sound. So there are sounds out there, and just because our ears don't pick up on it with that kind of sense, the sound can still affect us. And that's what you were calling like that walk in nature. And we're being able to like be in resonance with nature and the vibrations of nature and the sounds of nature. And those are both the sounds we can hear and the sounds we can't hear.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter. You when you go in nature, you kind of just feel immersed, in a vibrational soup of things you can hear, things you see. Absolutely, right? Things you see and things you can just feel. Even the wind blowing on your skin, when you feel with your skin, with like, nerve endings, or just feelings of the emotional vibration that you can sense from the natural beings like the trees and the animals, and kids too. And when I say innocence, kids will bring us to that. So will anything in nature and animals. When I'm talking about adults, and kids themselves also respond really well to entrainment. And it's not so literal with them.
An expanded view of what sound is and how sound can be used for healing. In your course, like what could people expect to learn?
Well, we're going to go over a little bit of chemistry, very little chemistry, but more physics. We're going to go over some music theory a little bit. And we have to tie that into some anatomy and how we process sound waves as a biologically, and how an invisible vibration that we can't see but we can hear translates through the body and ends up as something different than it started as, and how that works in a healing mechanism within the body. And we go through how this affects the physiology of the body, but also life experience. And we go over other types of sound, so to speak, that you can see in nature, expressions of nature that prove that this is the way things are. Like as we go over the Fibonacci spiral and the Fibonacci sequence of sound, we learn that that's expressed in nature already. And when those shapes are actually expressed as musical ratios and we hear them, they affect us a different way. So everything can be transduced. We go through transduction quite a bit because matter doesn't even really exist in the world of quantum physics. There's a very like, now you see it, now you don't kind of quality to it. And that I took from Bruce Lipton in one of his speeches I heard. Just by the way, I use him a lot because he actually is a professor of medical school who had to stop teaching because he thought he was teaching the wrong things and the false things to his students when he started doing some experiments in biology and quantum physics that proved that by no means are things we think permanent, and by no means do the cells of our body interact the way we think they do. They interact and change and grow in response more to emotion than they do to the actual medium they're existing and swimming in.
This is why I wanted to have you on here, because it's such a multidimensional perspective. And those things that you talked about like the cellular layers, and then bigger perspectives of like emotional layers, and then how we all exist here on this earthly plane too. So you took it from the small to like a grander perspective. And it's so neat how you can tie that all together with sound. So after, like at the end of your course, will people be able to use sound for themselves, or what happens at the end of the course?
Well, this first course is really an introductory course, and I'm going to be doing more intermediate courses. And when I use the word or the term sound healing, really that term is drawing people in to take the class, because people are going to want to get good at sound healing, and people are going to want to have something to use in their office, and they're going to want to get a skill. And that's the original reason I took sound healing. And when I went to my very first sound healing retreat with Dr. John Boyu, who's now a very good, close and good friend of mine and a mentor of mine, and we're actually going to be in the same book coming out in September, I realized when I got to the retreat and I went through all the sound healing for 4 or 5 days or whatever it was, I was a mess. I completely wanted to get the heck out of there as soon as I could, because I was immersed in the sound healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that that was actually what was happening. So we don't really get good at it. What we do is heal from it. And then we realize things, we become aware of things that help us in every aspects of our lives with healing, but then with everything else. But having said that, sound is a good way to tune people that aren't seeking awareness, like our patients. So having these scales and tuning forks or some other instrument can be helpful to help tune people to get them started. And a lot of these people may not know what you're doing or why you're doing it, and they may not be trying to learn about sound healing, but at the same time, they're willing to get it. And so in that way, we can help. Yes, we can do simple things that can help our patients in the office, in any specialty, primary care, or even the emergency room. I mean, the instruments I use are tuning forks, which are really light, and I go over why I use them in the class. However, you don't need any instruments at all. And you don't need to be a musician, and you don't need to understand music or play any instrument to do this. But I will go over some things. And that's why this class is pretty easy, because it doesn't require anyone to buy the tuning forks, because the most important thing in this class is the awareness of the concepts. Because once we become aware of something, even if you can't reiterate the physics or memorize it, the cells learn it, and the knowledge is retained in the cellular structure of your body and your DNA forever. So you become aware, but you may not be able to logically write out the Fibonacci sequence or the music theory, or, oh my God, what's a quark? Where's that again? Where part of the atom does that exist in? But you will realize that at one point, and that awareness is retained in cellular structure. So you grow or expand just from becoming aware of something one time. And then you can go back and relearn it, because if you're interested like me, that's what I do on Saturday nights. I love it. But not everybody wants to do that. But you'll still retain the awareness of it in many areas of your life, not just going into the office and sound healing, but that will expand you and broaden your ability to heal yourself mostly. And by that, and by doing that, you're open enough to give your gifts, whatever they are. And sometimes it means a change in career. It goes really deep and really, it goes deep.
That is such a great emphasis, what you said. It's
Yeah.
like, it's really starting from within and learning how to be in balance and in resonance and in these healing frequencies. And even though often the draw is to like learn a new skill set, like you said, the real emphasis is starting from inside of you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I could go on and on and on and on in spirals, and we'll learn why spirals are important in the class too. But it's about so much more than sound. But when it comes to starting with something like I did myself, that's what drew me in, is the sound healing. And I wanted to add another dimension and parameter to what I could offer my patients. But by doing it, I healed. I didn't come back with a single technique I could use on anybody, but I can tell you I was better at everything I did.
That's amazing.
And I knew that, and that's what got me started on learning and about sound healing. And the instruments are wonderful, but you don't need them to do sound healing. You just don't. And if you want them, the tuning forks are easy. They're lightweight. They're precise in the tone. We go over precision. We go over musical precision and pitch precision in the class. That's super important in all species. Precision is one of the most important things in all species on Earth. When they make a sound that you can hear, the precision of it matters whether or not their species survives. I mean, just think about when you sit out on your lawn and you hear hundreds of different kinds of birds calling. How do they know how do they reach each other? They all have to come up with a slightly different pitch, a slightly different call, slightly different rhythm. And that's how they even find each other to mate. Otherwise, they'd be all lost in a sea of screaming, precision. And so when we think about music and tones and ratios and relationships, and that's what musical ratios are, they're relationships, then we know that precision is everything and millimeters matter. If you could think about that in a sound tone, like fractions of changes in precision of tone matter. And they do in speech too. We go over this all in the class.
Yeah.
I could probably just give you the class right now.
and we had talked about some of that last year at the Healing Through Art Summit of just like why that resonance of your voice and speech and intention behind it really matters. And to me, that's part of what you're saying, like that precision. So
Yep.
there's an intention behind the vibration of your voice that can fine tune the precision of how you want to use your voice.
Exactly. And the meaning, like you could say the same phrase in different tones, and it can be sarcastic or serious or playful or funny, or you could say the very same sentence as a question and the very same sentence as a statement. Tone and precision in tone is huge. And we go over that too. And that's why we can actually use these tones, these musical scales, to get us started.
Uh-huh.
And if anything, the tones get us started. But what really happens is the patients say, "What are you doing? And why does this work?" And the answer is what gets them started. They're like, "Oh, I can do this on my own at home without even instruments." I'm like, "Mm-hmm. See you later. I'm putting myself out of business." Because it's really what it should be, to be honest with you. So we learn about that.
So it sounds like a lot of it's experiential in the class.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we do experience the tones in the class. But for this class, I don't really have an experiential where everybody has the tuning forks and they're doing them, because doing isn't what we need right now. When you're starting out with this, receiving is what you need to do, is become aware of things. And the awareness tells you what you need to start.
Well, so the experience is really in allowing yourself to receive the frequency,
the healing,
sound, and to that sounds. I mean, that sounds great. That sounds amazing. I'm going to be taking this class, by the way. So if anyone joins, then I will be there with you, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it because, like Dr. Shawn Higgins said, everything is vibration and everything is energy. And so to be able to incorporate that into your day, your presence, your intention really makes everything that you do much more impactful. So how can if anyone would like to sign up for the course, how can they do that?
My website, which is osteopathicwell.com, osteopathicwell.com, osteopathicwell.com. And if you Google Dr. Shawn Marie Higgins, DO, osteopathic well, or osteopathic wellness, my website should come up. And then there's right on the front, it says upcoming courses, and you can click on the button. Yeah, there you go. And you can register and fill out the registration form, and then I can send you a PayPal link. And then it's a two-step process right now, but I'll be refining it for the second class that I'm giving. It's going to be the same class again in December, because not everybody can get this one, and it's super important to have this class before the intermediate and advanced courses in sound. The intermediate and advanced courses focus more on the human body as a biological sound healing instrument, and the voice and the vocal tract, and a lot of anatomy of the vocal cords and the vocal tract, and of course the cranium. So this is all very anatomical. It's very scientific, and it really draws the conclusions between the science and the spiritual or energetic piece of healing, like where you think about electrical charge, like as in polarity healing, but also the energy of like chakras and energy centers in the body. And I literally draw the anatomy between that and those systems, and that makes it very believable. And for the medical fields, we may need that conclusion to be drawn.
And I feel like this is where so much of medicine is heading. And it's part of my mission too, to bring that intuitive aspect back to medicine and all of this energy healing too. So thank you, Shawn, for being here with me today. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to message me or comment below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm so looking forward to this class, and I hope that you can join us. So thank you so much for being with us today. Lots of love to you, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.